Hey everyone, and welcome to another Tuesday Tornado Tips. I'm your host, Jon Edlin. It is July 28th. It's summer. It's hot here in Kansas. And I'm going to just go ahead and jump into the archives. And we're going to go ahead and just watch something that I taped earlier this year when it was actually cold. It was January. I was in the studio and I was talking about different tornado types. So let's jump into that. Watch that. Get that for your Tuesday Tornado Tips this week. And here we go. One thing that I want to talk about and make sure that I mention in this is that after the tornado, I started to get really curious about just tornadoes and how they're formed and how we decide, how intense they are. Because tornadoes can go from a scale of what we call the Fujita scale, an EF0 to an EF5. There's a big difference there. And I wanted to know what tornado I was in, right? Because it was on the ground for 60 miles. My tornado was on the ground for 60 miles, and it ended up killing 25 people altogether. But in that 60 miles, it changed. It would go down and be an EF0, and then hop back up, and then go down and be an EF4, and then hop back up, and then go down and be an EF2. And so I wanted to understand that. I wanted to understand what I had actually felt, what winds I had actually felt hit me when I was in the tornado. And what I found out that it was an EF3 tornado. And that means that the winds are strong enough to rip off roofs and strong enough to blow out windows. There's a myth that I think is kind of funny that if you open all the windows in your house, then they won't blow out because of the pressure. That's not true. Please don't do that, because you'll be spending time opening up windows in your house, which really doesn't matter, and less time getting to your safe spot. So the EF3 is going to blow out all your windows, it's going to take off the roof, and it's going to cause extreme damage. But then, of course, you go to the EF4, where it can literally take houses off of their foundation. And it can start to move cars, and it can start to do a lot of damage. Now, luckily, there are not a ton of EF4s that happen each year in the US. Only about 20 to 30 tornadoes that happen each year are going to be EF4s. And then the EF5 is even more rare, and those are the ones like Joplin, Missouri, and the tornadoes that you hear about that are literally picking up semis or taking a car and wrapping it around a telephone pole. Those are the most intense, the strongest tornadoes, an EF5, that are super rare. And in fact, it had been a decade since there was an EF5 tornado that was recorded. Now, I do want to say something that I thought was very interesting about this EF5 scale. Again, it's called the Fujita scale, and the E stands for Enhanced Fujita scale. I was watching a documentary called Mr. Tornado, done by PBS Documentaries. It's such a great documentary, and I hope you go and find out where that's streaming so you can watch it. It's very well done and gives you the history of how we came across this Fujita scale. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching today's Tuesday Tornado Tips. We'll be back at it next week, and I'll bring you something new.